But let's rewind a little bit to Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Yeah.
Not so concerned with whether you felt it was right or wrong. You were there.
I was there.
And you were doing your job.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of your experience there.
None of it was good. It was a shithole, you know. And I was 20, spent my 21st birthday over there. I didn't know. All I know is that when I was in basic training, there was like, you know, and that was in 2002. 9/11 just happened a year prior. You know, we was in school. And it's like, as soon as you guys finish basic training and you know, tech school, you guys going to deploy, guarantee. And sure enough, 2 years later, we're shipping out. So I was gone for a year and a half, you know.
A year and a half in the Army infantry. What kind of responsibility did you have up there?
Oh, shit, I was only a specialist and a sergeant then. But our responsibility was pretty much QRF, you know.
What is that?
QRF is Quick Reaction Force, where you stay on standby. If there's other units that get hit up there, you go and react and you go help them. You get the wrecker guys, the mechanics to just, because they get all hit by bombs and shrapnels and stuff like that. So we would rotate that between convoy security and also we'd also watch the gates and, you know, do security over there as well too. So we'd all rotate. So my old unit, the 100 Battalion, we had a lot of companies from headquarters to Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, yeah, from like Samoa and Guam and stuff like that. Mainly here, mostly the main guys here in Hawaii at Fort Shafter.
Okay.
So
you saw some things that, you know, the average person can only, you know, would only see in nightmares or on movies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, at a young age, you know. Yeah.
So how did that build character, or how did that affect Justin Sabio?
Well, I mean, being in that kind of setting definitely gives you PTSD for sure. You know, I came back angry and, you know, just...
I seen the video.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fucking silly,
Oh yeah.
I don't need to show that one.
Yeah,
but anyway, so how did that shape you, man?
Definitely, it gave me a real perspective in life about how important family is.
Okay,
you know, that was pretty much the longest I've been away from them. You know,
but you know, when you're propelled into a situation in where you're in a total different culture, and that culture and the indigenous peoples that are there are mostly resentful. I'm sure there's a mix of people that feel like you're helping, and then there's also a mix of people that feel like fuck
for sure.
you for coming into my homeland.
Of course, yeah. And disrupting peace, you know, and then just you know, ruining their way of like their leadership and dictatorship was helping them. But you know, we've worked with the Iraqi up there, you know, and trained them. So I don't know if they were good or some were good or some were bad. You never could tell, you know.
Who's who?
Yeah, who's who? You know.
So you always have to kind of be on guard.
You got to be on guard, yeah, definitely. Because I know when I went home for my 2 weeks R&R, I was on guard. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you hear something loud and you're
that kind of stuff. Home. Yeah, fireworks or back home or I think there's one guy was like I took my family to Disneyland on my R&R. I never come home. I flew everybody up, and I think I seen this one crazy looking stalker guy like following my sister, and I just went crazy. You know what I mean? And I just went from the theater. Took me 3 days to fly home. And then I'm like in Disneyland, you know, like big freaking chain. So I'm like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just watching my family and stuff like that. So to take yourself from that kind of environment to something totally different, you know, it messes with you, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, so that happened
that
early
happened,
on in your career.
Early in my career. I joined in 2002, March. So that happened maybe in the ending of 2005 when I took my R&R.
Okay.
You get like a 2 week break because the tours were 1 year back then.
2 weeks doesn't seem like enough time for what you experienced.
Yeah.
It came and went those 2 weeks.
I was crying and having to fly back to the theater, but I was smart enough to take it towards the end. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So where does